So I was thinking to myself, what shall I get up to today? Got a day off. I've had about 5 shifts I've done just recently, so I'm pretty knackered and done in with work. So I thought we'll come and do something today, give myself a bit of headspace. What should we get up to? Go for a paddle, go for a wander along the beach in the woods. And I thought, oh, I haven't been down to South Elmham for a while. We'll go do a bit of fly fishing down there. And it's not the perfect conditions here. It's a bit bright out here today, but there is a few clouds in the sky. So hopefully we'll be able to find a hatch and get a few fish on the surface. So time to break out the old Infinite Flyby rigged and ready, set that up as a 6-weight rod, and we'll take a wander down to the lakes and see whether we can get a couple of fish on the bank. The freezer's getting a bit empty, so need to take a few fish home. So let's get this set up and take a wander down there. Well, there's a little bit of wind on the surface. It's clouded over a bit. Can't see much on the surface though. Oh, there's one over there. And another one fairly close in over there. Yeah, it looks alright. It's beautiful, these lakes are. It's absolutely beautiful. It's lovely having this little fishing hut here as well, and it's just peaceful. It's just a really relaxing set of lakes, and so far we've got it all to ourselves. So what shall we do? Shall we fish this one, or shall we go over to that one over there? So I think we'll have a wander around the other side over there and have a bash over there. First, I'm just going to have a check in the book just to see what flies people have been using, because it's always handy to know what fish have been caught on. Bit of a change of mind, I think. I think we'll have a go on Old Hall. There's some big brownies in here. I've just seen one rise just over there. And looking in the book there, it looks like most people have been catching off dries. So we'll give it a go. But what shall we use? There's a few little midges flying about. There's another rise just down the front there. We'll try with a nice small midge, I think, to start off with. Right, let's get it all set up and let's... I'm looking forward to this, I really am. I've got a good feeling about today. But you know how it goes with my fishing trips. So we'll start off with a little sedge fly, I think. Just gink him up and get him out. Right, I think we're going to have to change tactics. We're not getting any interest at all on the surface. I just swapped over to a hawthorn, because there seems to be like black flies sitting on the surface. But I'm not getting any interest at all. So I think we'll go down in the water column a little bit, I think. Can't see anything rising up on the surface at the minute. I'm definitely not interested in my fly anyway. Just swapped over, the battery's just got on my GoPro. I just swapped over to a little olive nymph, literally straight away. So that's what they're feeding on. There we are. Come on, you. Well, at least we found out what they're feeding on. He's still got a bit of life in him. And he's in the net. Well, there we are. Well, it just shows you, doesn't it, you know? As soon as you find out what they're feeding on, you start to get them. Well, there we go. That's not a bad looking fish. Yeah, do like the old stockies, but let's try and get a couple of brownies, shall we? Right, I'm glad I know what they're feeding on. Let's dispatch this one and get the lure back out, or the fly even. Well, apologies for that. Another one caught off camera. It's very tricky fishing today. Oh, I think we've got a... Is that a brownie? I'm not sure. Can't quite see him yet. No. Come on. Up you come. No, it's a rainbow. Another little rainbow. I just actually put a buzzer or an emerger on the bottom and just had the little midge on the top. And this one has took the buzzer. He's nearly ready. Not quite ready. She's there. Well, there we are. Another little rainbow. Not as big as the other one. Oh, they are jumping about. Right, dispatch this and let's see where we can get our third. Right, let's get another. Let's get another. Well, apologies, but they all seem to be getting caught off camera today. They're like these little green buzzers, that's what it is. Another rainbow. And we're in the net. I think we'll do a cup of coffee after this one. Well, that's a bit bigger. Let's just dispatch him. There we are, number 3. So we're going to go over to catch and release after this, but I think what we'll do, we'll get this one on the stringer. We'll have a brew and a bag of jerky, I think. But yeah, good old sport, aren't they? They really, really are. You can see that little, tiny little emerger that we've been catching them on today. Right, yeah, right. Let's get it on the stringer and let's have a brew. Well, at least we're caught. We're not going home empty-handed. It's absolutely gorgeous down there now. Beautiful, perfect conditions. It's just a little bit harder than what I thought it was going to be. There's tons and tons on the surface, and I thought it was going to be one after the other today, but yeah, it takes a little bit to get them, but we found out what they're feeding on. Right, let's have a brew. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through my brew kit that I keep in one of these pouches. These pouches, they're standard for any Fjallraven bag here, and they'll basically fit onto the daisy chain on any bag that's got the daisy chain onto them. So I pretty much swapped this over from my stubbing over to this one here. I do prefer using my stubbing for a bit of fishing like this, because at least it gives you something to sit on. But this place where we are today at South Elmham, you've got all of these logs all the way around, so there's plenty of places to go, and this is much more comfier to wear. This is. So I'll take you through the brew kit that I got inside of the side pouch. Right, so opening the bag up, in the top there I've got my cookser and my coffee bag. There's just a leather pouch there, and it is just a standard Lidl's coffee, but what we tend to do with ours at home is we stick a few cardamom pods and a cinnamon stick in a jar and just let it just take the flavour of that inside of that, so that keeps in there pretty much all the time. The cookser I've got in here is this is by Kopilka. This is a Finnish company, and it's made from a wood and resin mix here, and these are absolutely brilliant. They're fairly lightweight, they're quite big, as you can see, so there's tons and tons of space in there. You ain't got to worry about having some cookers you get, they're a little bit small. This is full of sand, this one is. Right, what else have we got inside of there? So food wise, I always keep one of my real Termat pouches inside of there. So we've got a beef stew here, so that's 602 kilocalories, that is. And I rave on about them, and they are the absolute best outdoor meals that you can get. They really, really are. They're not the cheapest, but there is a discount code in the description there, and also a link to these products at Base Camp Foods, where you can get all of the real Termat products and loads and loads of other freeze-dried meals as well. So that's the meal that we've got. I've got a bag of jerky inside as well. So I haven't tried this one here. This is from the jerkystore.eu. This is so this is Indiana Real Bite of Power. So what have we got here? It's just salt from the Dead Sea that we've got here, original beef jerky. So keep a bag of that inside of there as well. And then a tiny little bottle with my meths inside. And then the actual cooker that I use is a combination, really. So what we've got in this little bag here is one of those little cheap little Chinese twig stoves. Now, I don't generally use it with twigs there, but I use it as just like a windbreak really. So let's take it out and show you what we've got here. So it's just one of these cheap little twig stoves here. The bottom plate fits in there, and then you bring that around and then lock that all into place. And then inside of that, what we've got inside of here is a bushcraft lighter and just a tiny little meth stove that just slots inside of there, and that's pretty good. I mean, it keeps the wind at bay. I mean, on a day like today, it's got to be absolutely perfect to heat up my kettle there. And then in the base, I've got my most favourite, probably one of my most favourite bits of kit, I would say. And this is my Eagle kettle. So this is a Norwegian company that produce these. Now these kettles, if you have a look at these kettles, they're flat on the bottom, so they actually take a lot more heat, so they can actually boil a lot quicker there. If you've got like a rounded kettle there, then you've only got just a small amount of heat that's being sort of directed onto the bottom of the kettle. But with this over an open fire, that will actually take loads and loads of heat on the bottom. They're copper plated on the bottom, but as you can see by this, this is got its own protective coating on top of it there. And then you just got your two handles that they fold over and clip on the sides there, so you just open them up and then you can hang that on a pot hook, or you can just use a stick to pick it up. And the great thing about this little kettle as well is the lid of the kettle here, where you got the little handle, you can just slide that way and that will stay above there, so you haven't got to try and burn your fingers to try and pick the top of the kettle off. Right, so that is my little cook kit that I use when I come out on a day like today. So let's get it all set up and let's make a brew, and I think a bag of jerky. I'm not that hungry, I don't fancy a meal. As soon as that wind dies down, they just go nuts on the surface here. Right, so I'm going to teach you how to make the best cowboy coffee now. Just promise you won't tell anyone. So inside of my bag here, I've got my favourite coffee beans inside of here. They're all ground up. There's about 5 or 6 crushed cardamom pods inside of there, and a stick of cinnamon. And then every time I just need to replace the coffee, just add coffee into it, and maybe add a couple more cardamom pods into it as well. So what we need to do is just wait for our water inside of our kettle here just to be on the simmer. Not quite there as yet. And then we're going to add in our coffee. Well, the wind is affecting this stove a little bit, so we'll just use our seat pad just to give it a little bit of shelter. Well, there we go. Kettle's on the boil. Now we'll put the coffee in. So for this, I'd probably put about 3 tablespoons of coffee into that good old amount. Make it nice and strong. And then what you want to do, leave the lid off it. Just bring it up over the top of the heat, and then just swill it around to make sure all the coffee gets wet, and then just hold it over the top of the heat. You don't want this to boil, you just want it just to simmer, so you get a nice brown foam on the top of your coffee. Oh, it's the second fly I found today. One of them was in a fish's mouth, but I found a little apse there. Never actually caught anything on those, to be honest. Right, so there we go. That's how you do your cowboy coffee. And out she comes. And that just smells absolutely divine. Well, cheers everyone. I've had a really good day today. At least I got my 3. It was a bit of a struggle, to be perfectly honest. It was a bit of a struggle, but we got a 3. Can put 3 fish back in the freezer when we get home. I was going to come out and do a bit of a cooking video, but I didn't have any meths, or enough meths for me hot smoker, so that will have to do on another day. Right, I'm going to finish off my brew. I'm going to have my bag of jerky, and I think we'll have a go for another 3 fish. So we caught 3 here. It's 30 pounds here for a 3 fish limit, and 3 fish catch and release as well. So I'm going to finish my brew up, have something to eat, and let's try and catch another 3. Let's hopefully get one of those decent sized brownies that's in there. I'll stick a link to a video up the top there of a decent sized brownie that I had out of this lake just at the beginning of this year. It's absolute perfect conditions down here now. All we need is just one of those great big brownies, and that would make the day. Right, so I think whatever was emerging is now hatching. There's absolutely thousands and thousands of flies on the surface, and whee, fish on! I was then going to do me extra. There we go. So he, well, at least we got him up on the reel anyway. And he's now zooming his way towards me. I better do my outro a little more often, I think. Come on, out of there. Out of there. Another rainbow. And that was on a dry fly, that wasn't on one of the emergers. I was just saying that I didn't have a fly pattern to match what was hatching. I had the emerging pattern, but that's now up in that tree behind me there. So I thought, well, what we got? I managed to get one of the flies, get one of the flies out on the net, and it looks like a little mayfly, tiny little mayflies. So I cut down a fly and just put that out, and I was then thinking, right, we'll knock it on the head. And then this one has come in and decided to play for the afternoon, and it's a nice looking rainbow. And there we are in the net, number 4. Right, we'll unhook this one in the net. I think we will, as this one is catch and release. So as I was saying anyway, so thank you for watching this week's video. It's been an absolute cracking day out down here. As you can see, it's an absolute beautiful spring day down here today. So I'll stick a link to South Elmham in the description below if you want to come down and give this a visit. Absolutely brilliant. It's been an absolute cracking day's fishing there. So thank you for watching. My name is Martin, and if you're new to the channel, then please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and we'll catch you next time on the next one. And away.